Summary. What we'd like to do is to create an ethical docking station, AI-enabled, between NHS data and life sciences to transform outcomes. It's as straightforward as that. One of the most globally underserved areas for data is mental health. And if you go to places like the US, it's fragmented because of their systems. It's insurance-based, they chop and change every year. So it's not longitudinal, so you're missing outcomes of a long-term treatment, which particularly mental health is pivotal. We have 25 million patient records sitting in our RIO databases. 25 million patient records. 4.1 billion records. A record is an encounter, a progress note. Progress note, by the way, could be a massive length of data in its own right. So we're talking about a lot of data, and in science terms, and I know I did this for 3 years before I joined Access with NHS trusts and pharmaceutical, that's at least 167 records per patient record. That's dense data, very valuable. It's also NHS grade. I know some of you may think that's an oxymoron. It's globally renowned as some of the best data in the world. A certain American company have just spent 350 million in being paid for the license for to take that data and to start to create analytics out of it. Can you take raw data alone? No. But if you put it into an observational format, this is OMOPS is a standard format for the language of clinical research, like HL7 is the language of healthcare and healthcare interoperability. And that's what we would hope to do, is transform that data into something immediately usable. But the business case for this is really interesting. Monetization of this could reach over nearly 4 billion by 2033. It's projected to grow to billions with massive growth. Healthcare data monetization, as I said, 3.7 billion. 1/5 of all spending in the world on healthcare is now in mental health. 1/5. It's a huge, it's trillions. And if you think about our opportunity to help companies find better treatments by the use of data, particularly 25 million patient records worth of it, you've got something quite compelling. So what's the value of the data? Well, the government asked Ernst & Young to do a review, but the value of the raw data is valued at around about £100 per patient record, so you can see the immediate value immediately. But if you start to add value to that data, if you start to work with Genomics England, if you start to work with other groups, pharmaceuticals, biobanks, other groups too, and I've got a few examples later, that value, just like oil, which you take it out of the ground as crude, and then it becomes refined into diesel, into petrol, it grows in value. By the time it reaches plastics and specialist products, you've got something which is worth a multiple of that £100. Now, we can't unlock that because we are effectively the donors for it. But you don't know how to unlock it. We think we can become an ethical AI docking station to allow other people to unlock that for us. So we don't want to do it ourselves, but we want to be the conduit to see if we can actually unlock that with you. In terms of the values of those subscription-based models, so we can create a data lake. We were talking about data lakes earlier. And what does that mean? It means that actually you would have access to a data lake as well. Interestingly, we think that could create your FTP feed as and when it gets defined. Can we create an AI docking station, ethically based? And the reason I keep on calling it ethically based is that we are not going to be touching patient identifiable information. We will provide the ability to do that, to anonymize it, and to pseudo-anonymize it. There's a differentiation which is very, very important coming up in a minute. And that will allow us to only work with data that's far less well, it won't be identifiable because it will follow the 16 tenets of how you anonymize data, ICO-based standards, including, and as a Doctor Who fan, I love saying this, temporal shifting, which means you just move dates left and right. But that still allows you to have a huge body of data that you can then interrogate for patterns, for machine learning, for a whole raft of digital products that we can create from this, whether it's raw access, OMOPS access, which is probably the minimum level we would start with, all the way through into digital twins, clinical algorithms, non-clinical algorithms, You do need MedDev certification, which we are going to be 1345 compliant in about a month or two to deliver all of our products through the MedDev cycle that need it to Class 1, Class 2A certifications. But we have the most unique data set, and if you talk to specialists in this field, they are absolutely gobsmacked that this exists. And if you talk to a lot of the experts in this room, you know, Joe and others that have spoken to us, this is a most globally unique data set. Microsoft, IBM, Cognizant, Clinic, they're all partnerships that have already agreed to work with us on this. They're all extremely excited. This has been done thousands of times across hundreds and hundreds of trusts over the years. So it's not something that's new. It's been done before, but not with the revenue share.
Okay, thanks, Alan.